Okay, okay. I need you to think about the last time an anime character made you feel genuinely, physically bad. Like chest tight, eyes wet, I need to pause this and stare at the ceiling bad.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I once sat in my car for 10 minutes after finishing an episode because I could not go inside and face my family looking like that.
Like what? In your car?
This is embarrassing, but in my car, windows up, fully crying, my neighbor waved at me and I just did not wave back. I couldn't. I was in grief.
That is honestly valid because some of these characters, the things they go through, it's not entertainment anymore. It's a trial.
It genuinely is, and today we are leaning all the way into it.
Bro, we are going to talk about anime suffering, real suffering, the kind that rewires something in your brain.
And maybe cry a little.
We are definitely going to cry a little. Welcome to another Side Quest podcast, a detour worth taking.
I'm AJ.
I'm Sky, and today's episode is... Okay, the working title was Characters Who Suffered the Most, but honestly, I wanted to call it Anime Writers Are Not Okay.
I mean, that's not wrong, though. You look at some of these story arcs and you have to wonder what was happening in that writer's life when they sat down and said, yes, yes, more pain.
I'm sorry, what? More? Give them more. They haven't suffered enough.
And we eat it up. That's the thing. We keep watching. We keep going back. There is something deeply, deeply wrong with all of us, and I say that with love.
Absolute love. So here's how we're doing this. We're going to talk about what actually makes anime suffering hit different. Then we're getting into specific characters. And then we're going to talk about whether any of this actually means something. Like, is there a point to all this pain?
Okay. Heavy stuff. Good stuff. Let's go.
All right, foundation first. Because here's the thing. Suffering exists in every kind of story. Every movie, every book, every TV show. Characters go through it. But anime suffering? It hits different. And I want to talk about why. Oh, this is such a good question because I've thought about this a lot, actually. And I think part of it is just time. Like, anime gives you time with a character. You can spend 50, 80, 100 episodes with someone before anything really breaks. So when it does break, you feel it. Nope. The investment is real. You're not just watching a 2-hour movie where you kind of like the guy. You have years of memories with these characters.
You watch them laugh. You watch them have breakfast. You watch the little filler episode where they went to the beach. And then
everything falls apart. The beach episode was a lie.
Yep, the beach episode was a beautiful lie, and I miss it every single time.
But there's also the visual language of anime that makes suffering feel so intense, right? Like the way a scene can go completely silent, the colors drain, the animation style shifts, it gets rougher or slower, or there's this one close-up on someone's eyes and you know.
That quiet? Oh, that quiet is devastating. When the music stops and it's just ambiance, maybe some wind, a character just standing there. I feel my stomach drop every single time.
Okay, no. Every time. And then you've got the opposite, the screaming. The raw, ugly, unfiltered screaming that voice actors pour everything into. And we talked about VA work in episode 4, shout out to that episode, but man, when someone is performing genuine grief, you feel it in your bones.
It bypasses your brain entirely. It just goes straight to whatever part of you stores sadness. It lives there now.
Real estate in your chest. Just rented out permanently by fictional characters.
This is embarrassing, but at this point they own the property. I don't even have a lease anymore.
So that's the setup. The investment, the visual language, the voice performances. That's why it hits. Now let's talk about who specifically walked so our emotional damage could run. Okay, deep dive. Characters. I'm going to start with someone I don't think gets enough credit in this conversation, and that's Itachi Uchiha from Naruto.
Oh, you went there immediately.
I went there immediately because Itachi is one of the most quietly, devastatingly, structurally tragic characters in anime history, and I will die on this hill.
No, you're completely right, because the thing about Itachi is that his suffering isn't just bad things happen to him. The suffering is that he chose it, every step of the way. He chose the worst possible path because it was the only one that protected the people he loved.
Hold on. He chose to be the villain. He let his little brother grow up hating him for years, and he did it with a smile. Well, not a smile, but he did it willingly. And he never got to explain. He died before Sasuke knew the truth.
And that reveal, that moment when Sasuke finds out, I genuinely had to put my phone face down. I couldn't look at the screen.
Because by the time justice arrives for Itachi, it is far too late to matter.
Far too late. Which brings me to Guts from Berserk. Because if we're having this conversation...
Oh, we are absolutely having this conversation about Guts.
Guts is like the unit of measurement for anime suffering. Like you could literally say, on a scale of 0 to Guts, and everyone knows what you mean.
Wait, that should be an actual scale. How bad is this character's trauma? Oh, about a 0.4 Guts.
He is the baseline. And what makes Guts so brutal is that it starts at birth. It genuinely starts at birth. And it never, not once, lets up. There is no beach episode for Guts.
There is no rest for Guts. Every time something good begins to happen, every tiny glimmer of warmth or connection, something destroys it, often literally, with swords.
And yet he keeps going. He keeps fighting. And that's actually the other side of this, right? Because anime suffering isn't just about the damage. It's about what the character does with the damage.
Yes, okay, that's such a good point. Because there's a difference between characters who suffer and characters who are defined by their suffering, versus characters whose suffering becomes the fuel.
Guts chooses the fuel. Every single arc. Despite everything.
That's what I'm saying. Despite everything. Okay, I want to bring in someone a little different here. Homura Akemi. Puella Magi Madoka Magica.
Oh no, are we doing this?
We are doing this. Because Homura is a different kind of suffering. It's not just pain. It's the specific hell of trying so hard to fix something and being unable to. Over and over and over again.
No, but honestly, the time loop element makes it so much worse because she remembers. She carries every single failed attempt, every loss, every version of Madoka that she couldn't save. That's not just trauma. That is an accumulation of trauma across multiple timelines.
An infinite grief loop. And she just keeps going. Because what else do you do?
That one wrecked me. Quietly. Like, not loudly. I didn't cry in my car. I just sat with it for days and felt vaguely sad and couldn't figure out why, until I realized, oh, it's still Homura. She's still living in my head.
Oh, that's wild. She moved in and never left. Okay, I also have to mention, we can't skip over Rock from Black Lagoon. Because his suffering is a different flavor. It's not fantastical. It's not mythological. It's slow, creeping, realistic moral degradation, and it is horrible to watch.
Rock is a case study in a person being dismantled, piece by piece, by the world they chose to stay in. And the tragedy is, he thinks he's adapting. He thinks he's surviving. But you're watching him lose something he can never get back.
His humanity. He is slowly trading his humanity and telling himself it's strategy.
And nobody stops him. Nobody can. Because in that world, caring is a weakness, and everybody around him has already finished that transaction.
That one is uncomfortable in a way that fantasy suffering isn't, because you can see the real-world parallel way too clearly.
Way too clearly, yeah. Okay, last one for this segment. I have to say Violet Evergarden.
Hold on, hold on. Yeah. Yeah, we had to get there.
Because Violet's suffering is the journey of learning that she is allowed to suffer, that she's a person, that what was done to her was wrong, and watching her slowly, painfully, episode by episode, come to understand love, not romantically first, just love as a concept, while processing what was essentially her entire childhood being weaponized.
I can't. I just can't. I'm welling up just from the description.
I know. It's the letters that get me. Every time someone finally says what they needed to say, through her, I'm done, gone, on the floor.
The letters are a weapon. Whoever decided what if the saddest concept was also beautiful needs to answer for what they've done.
In court, legally.
Okay, big swing time. Because here's what I keep thinking about. We've talked about all this suffering, all these characters, and there's a version of this conversation that just goes, wow, dark stuff, very sad, anyway. But I don't want to do that, because I think there's a reason we're drawn to this, a real reason.
Oh, I think about this all the time, and I think the honest answer is that anime, at its best, uses suffering to tell us something true about what it means to be alive. And sometimes, things are true that are also really painful.
Right, because pain is universal. Like, regardless of whether you had a demon sword, or you're a magical girl, or you're a soldier who lost their arms, the emotional core of I loved something and it was taken from me, or I made choices that cost me everything, that's not fantasy. That's just people.
Like, why do I relate to this so much? It's the most human thing there is. And I think that's why these characters stick with us, right? Itachi, Guts, Homura, Violet, they're not real. But the feelings they make us feel are completely 100% real.
And there's something almost therapeutic about watching someone go through something unbearable and find a way to keep moving, even if it's ugly, even if they're not okay.
Yeah, because the message isn't usually suffering makes you stronger or whatever that toxic inspirational poster version is. The better message is suffering happened and you are still here, and that matters.
That's what I'm saying. You are still here, and that matters. Okay, that's actually beautiful, and I'm going to be thinking about that for a while.
I have my moments.
You really do. But, okay, flip side. Is there such a thing as too much? Like, is there suffering in anime that crosses from meaningful into just gratuitous?
Yeah, I think there is, and I think the line is intention. Like, does this pain serve the story? Does it tell us something about the character or the world? Or is it just pain for the sake of spectacle?
Shock value versus soul. That's the distinction.
Exactly. And I think the characters we talked about today, all of them clear that bar. All of them are suffering that means something, that builds something.
Oh, that's wild. Even when it's almost unbearable to sit with.
Especially then, maybe.
And I think that's also what makes the community around these shows so intense. Because when you've been through that experience with a piece of media, when it got to you that deeply, you need to talk about it. You need to find other people who felt it too.
Not me sitting here like, that's literally why podcasts like this exist. Like, we are a direct product of having too many feelings about fictional characters and no other outlet.
That is our origin story. Two people with too many anime feelings and a microphone. That's the pitch. That's the whole pitch.
And it works. Apparently, people keep showing up.
Hold on. They keep showing up, and we are so grateful. But before we get to takeaways, I do want to say one more thing, and it's this. If you watched any of the shows we mentioned today and you felt something really heavy, that's not weakness. That's the whole point. That's the art working.
That's beautifully said, seriously. Because I think sometimes people feel embarrassed about crying at anime, or feeling grief for a fictional character. And don't be embarrassed. You felt something real. That's a gift.
A gift that cost us significantly in therapy bills, but still, a gift.
I said what I said. Worth it. Completely worth it.
All right, takeaways. What are we walking away with today?
Okay, for me, I think it's that the best anime suffering has two things. It's deeply personal to the character, and it's universally relatable in feeling. That combination is what makes it stick forever.
Wait, mine is the difference between suffering that builds and suffering that just hurts. Intention matters. Soul matters. The writers who do this well aren't torturing characters for fun. They're trying to say something true.
And on that note, recommendation time. Every episode I throw something at you, and this week I'm going with High School of the Dead. Now, this one is loud and chaotic and over the top, and it is absolutely unashamed about what it is. It's a zombie survival anime that swings hard into action and pure adrenaline. And honestly, sometimes after an episode that wrecks you emotionally, you just need something that is all gas, no brakes. It's not deep in the same way we talked about today. It's a completely different vibe, but it's a wild ride and it delivers exactly what it promises. I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars. It knows its lane and it commits, and there's real value in that.
Okay, that sounds like a palate cleanser I desperately need after this episode.
Like, why do I relate to this so much? That is exactly what it is.
All right, that's our episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on another SideQuest podcast, a detour worth taking. Subscribe, leave us a comment with which character you think suffered the most. We will read them. And we'll see you on the next SideQuest.
See you then.